With ArkansasShowcaseRadio.com. And today we have a treat for you. We have Joe Nichols coming on. He's going to be giving us a live Zoom interview from his bus, his tour bus, because he's up in Colorado right now. So stay tuned. Joe Nichols will be coming up in just a second, just for you. One of our celebrity interviews on ArkansasShowcaseRadio.com. That's it for right now. Stay tuned. Joe's coming up any second, and here it comes. Hey, Joe, can you hear me?
Hey.
Hey, what's up? Are you there?
I hope so. I can hear you. Yeah. I got you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. What's up there, Mr. Man?
How you doing, man?
Oh, good.
Is it okay? Can you see me?
I can see you.
What's up, man?
For a second.
I'm on the bus. There's nothing I can do. I'm traveling in just outside of Denver, so it's gonna be hit and miss.
Oh, that's fine. So how you doing there, Mr. Man?
Man, I'm doing okay. You know, just been a busy year. We've had a good run with Good Day for Living, man. A super good run. Got in the top 15. First time in a bit that I've gotten a song in the top 15. I didn't realize it's been that long, but got a new one out there called Broken Hearted coming out in a couple of weeks. So getting geared up for that. And like I said, man, one heck of a busy tour a year.
How many shows you do a year anyway?
I think on a normal year, we'll do between 85 and 100, maximum sometimes 120. And on the light side, 65 or so.
Holy crap. I know you're coming down here to Magic Springs at the end of this month.
Yeah, great man. With a lot of family that comes over from Conway. And, I used to have family over as well.
Yeah, because you're from Rogers originally, right?
And sister will be coming up, I think maybe from Rogers. And like I said, I got some family from Conway and Little Rock. So
you've been in the music business quite a while now. So how'd you get started anyway? I know everybody would want to know that one.
Well, gosh, it's a long story. I started trying to get in a band when I was 15, 16 years old, when I was living in Rogers for a time. Couldn't really do much because my age group, high school kids didn't form country bands. They formed rock bands, so I wait. And, a lot of the clubs back then with live music had like Sundays were like teen night. You could get in underage as long as you had a parent there. So I'd go to some of the clubs and sit in with bands on Sundays as long as I could. And eventually I was able to, get out of high school. I was 18 or so and started and got my own band started. Got a little small independent record label that had zero promotion. It was, the label consisted of about 2 people. So it was a tiny little label, but we made a little bit of noise and it gave me just enough, motivation to go to Nashville and do it the big way. And so when I moved to Nashville in 97, I beat the street as much as I could, played for anybody that would hear me sing. I tried to, write as much as possible. And I went into Giant Records, got a deal there, sat on Warner Brothers for a minute. And then I got switched over, kind of lost in the shuffle a little bit, switched over to Warner Brothers. And then I had some music that I took to Universal South and they fell in love with. And that was my first album, Man with a Memory. And then we put out The Impossible, my first major label release, and it was a #1 song for us. So that's kind of a very short version of how everything went.
I saw something that you sold steaks.
Ha, man, I'll tell you what, I had a couple of jobs there that, they're so memorable, but lasted about 7 hours. I moved office furniture. I did cable, was pretty good at that. Actually, could be a fun job at times, but yeah, I sold steaks door to door. Did that whole drive in the little refrigerator truck. Man, I just wasn't cut out for it. Those guys have a line that they give everybody, and it's basically like a car salesman with steaks in the back. And I'm not a car salesman guy at all. I'm not able to pull off any kind of slickness at all. I've never been able to do that. So I lasted about 7 hours. This is July. The air conditioner was broke in the truck. The freezer was broke in the back of the truck, so the meat was getting thawed, and it was a miserable day. And I vowed that day, I'm like, either I'm gonna, really put 100% of my time in getting the deal and getting this thing popping, or, I don't know how much longer I can last in here before I go back to Arkansas. This is brutal.
Well, let me ask you something. I mean, you've been around a long time. You played with a lot of groups and everything. If you had to look back, what would be the high point of your career?
Ooh, well, I've had several. I think, when I first came out, that first album did so well. Grammy nominations, that was really cool. I didn't realize how special that stuff was until I didn't have Grammy nominations. And I was like, well, that's what happened there. So that was really special. That first album was so good to me. Platinum album, sold. It was critically acclaimed, and it was a good seller, which is a really good combo. And then, the second album was really good. To me, it was a great piece of work. Didn't sell quite as many, but it sold all right. And radio kind of slowed down for me a little bit. And then we came out with Tequila Makes Her Clothes Fall Off, and it changed my whole profile. It just, kind of exploded my career again. So that's kind of come back #1, really come back from the radio #1. And then had a couple of hits there with I Wait For You and Size Matters, and kind of dipped at radio again. And then, regrouped, put out another album called Old Things New with Give Me That Girl as a single. And then again, there's like a comeback special, a big, like I said, big moment, big explosion again. And so we've done that, I think, 5 times. Did that again with Sunny in 75. I'd not been on the radio for a year or two, and then all of a sudden, boom, come out with Sunny in 75, multi-week #1, and then, multi-week #1. And here I am with a big comeback, and we've gone away from radio since then a little bit, a couple of years, to kind of get regrouped. And here we are with Good Day for Living, getting in the top 15, and we got a new one coming, Broken Hearted, that feels really good. And we kind of seem like we're on comeback #6 or something. Like, I saw somebody tweet one time, this was 2 or 3 comebacks ago. They said Joe Nichols has had more comebacks than the McRib. And I thought that's great. Yeah, I think that's right.
Well, let me ask you something. Now, if you can look back and you can say, hey, if you had a choice between a major record label back then or a contract with the Cardinals, which would you have taken?
Oh, my gosh. Cardinals. Oh, all day long. I see some of these, deals that they're signing in baseball. You don't even have to be good, to get these, $10 million for 5 years, a year. Yeah, that's giving out like candy in these major league contracts. So I would choose baseball all day long. Not that it's not work, but those contracts are a lot bigger than, the music business tends to hand out, unless you're Taylor Swift.
What position did you play?
I played first, third, center. I didn't play second baseman a lot, but I didn't play catcher. I kind of messed up my labrum early on in high school, and so I kind of I really couldn't pitch or anything like that. Had not really much durability in my arm, so third was a good position for me, and first base was a good position for me. It was okay, but my bat was usually in the middle of the order, so center, first, third was usually for me.
now, let me ask you something. I mean, you played with, I know one of your idols was Buck Owens. Playing with a lot of these stars, were you ever awestruck with somebody just said, damn, I'm actually playing with this person?
Man, I have had so many of those moments that I've had to just sit and try to absorb the moment, which is so hard to do when things like that are happening. I did a duet on the Grand Ole Opry with George Jones, and one of those, while we were rehearsing, I was like, I'm really doing this. This is something that, if you'd asked me 10, 15, 20 years ago as a kid, I would have just died. I would have just died if I'd had the opportunity. Here I am sitting there, doing a duet with one of my favorite singers of all time. Same with Merle Haggard, getting to sing, in front of him for his tribute at the ACMs and also at Buck Owens Crystal Palace out there. Just so many moments that I'm just so thankful for. Of course, those guys aren't with us anymore, so it makes them all more special. I'll never forget the first time I met Merle Haggard. I've never been a starstruck kind of guy. I've never been that guy because I've always thought deep down they got their flaws just like I do, and so my flaws keep me humble, just like theirs keep them humble. So I've never been really awestruck until I met Merle Haggard, and then I was like, wow, you don't have any idea how much you've impacted my life with your music. I mean, the way I sing is thanks to you, and kind of what I appreciate about music is thanks to you. And, I get what you do on a level that I don't get, with a lot of other artists. And so I met him, I was awestruck because of the impact he's had on my life. George Strait was the same way.
Well, I saw that you got a letter from Buck Owens at the same time he passed away. You received it, and that was pretty unique there. I mean, that must have been a real moment for you.
Yeah, that was so cool. He's from a time, that artists took time to write letters. What about text messages or phone calls or whatever? He told me when I saw him at the unveiling of these 10 bronze statues of 10 country icons in front of the Crystal Palace. It was a big event. Garth Brooks proposed to Trisha Yearwood there, and Merle was there. Jones was there. Me and Dirks were part of the entertainment. Sleep at the Wheel. Ray Benson was there. Buck, of course, Buck was there, and it was just a lineup that you're like, holy smokes, this is incredible. And he told me at that event, he said, son, I really like what you do. I really do. He said, but there's one thing's going to hold you back forever. That hair. He said, that hair is just too shaggy. It's too long. I don't like it. It ain't you. And you cut that hair and you'll take off. You just see what, trust me. And that was right before Tequila. And so that was right before Tequila Makes Her Clothes Fall Off. And of course, I got a little shorter cut right before we did that album shoot and the video. And he wrote me a letter the day before he died, because it got to my house the day after he died. And he said, I just want to tell you, I appreciate you, all the stuff you do, the country music, the traditional stuff you keep alive. And he was very complimentary, written in pencil, chicken scratch. And I just was blown away. And he said, and P.S., thank you for cutting that GD hair. I'm telling you, that's the ticket to your success. I'm like, all right, that's cool.
It seems like you're doing really well now. I know you had some bad times there for a little bit, but now with your family and everything's all straightened out for you now. You're doing good now.
Man, I'm telling you what, the one thing that I wish people realize, and most people probably do, it just took me a long time to realize that gratitude is everything. Being grateful for what you do have, being grateful for God and the blessings He gives me every day, being grateful for my wife, my kids, Benny Brown, who's kind of been like my guardian angel / father figure in the music business. That's I think that's the key to being happy too. And if you're grateful and happy, you don't need a lot of things to fill that hole. And for years and years, I was never grateful. I was always searching for other things, wild behavior, anything and everything I could do that felt wrong. That's what I would do, because I was always trying to fill a hole. And the moment I decided to humble myself in front of God, ask Him to take away all the defaults of my character, and became grateful to Him, no matter what, every day grateful. My psychology changed. Everything in my brain worked differently, and still to this day works differently. And like I said, I thank God first for that, and I think of an awesome wife who gave me a lot of grace. Sorry about the noise. If that's noise, it's a truck. But my wife has shown me a lot of grace, and has stuck with me and saw the end rather than the immediate behavior. And so we got 2 beautiful children together. I have 3 total, and I'm grateful for them. I just think everything changed when I decided to turn it over to God, and He's blessed my life more than I could ever deserve.
Yeah, because I knew you was doing well with your kids, because every time we started doing this interview, Mike, your manager, would go, "Nope, he's with his kids. No interview, no nothing. He's with his."
Yeah,
I said, "That's pretty
yeah,
cool." That's
met
pretty
precedent over everything.
well,
Yeah, even the label will call every now and then and say, "We need you to come in, and we need you to do this, or we need you to go in the studio, and you need to." I'm like, man, I'm telling you, being dad is number one. I don't ever want them to feel like I chose something else over them.
now, do you want them to play baseball or into music?
They are both into softball, and I actually coach their softball. Which has been fun for me while I'm not touring, which is you know maybe 1 or 2 days out of the week. I get to come in and coach. And my youngest is in the All-Stars right now, making an All-Star run. They'll be playing select ball against in the fall, and they got some talent, man. They got some real good talent. And my 11-year-old, not only is she good at sports, she's also a really, really creative person. So she's got a good ear for music and good art. She paints with vision that I've never had in my life, but she's a creative mind, a creative soul. And I tell you what, I couldn't be more proud of 3 little girls.
And let me ask you something. Did you ever get thrown out of a game because you lost it?
I've come close to getting into it with an opposing coach. I've always been in high school. I played baseball through, high school, and into my adult years, I played travel ball with a team there in Nashville while I was, pumping around selling steaks and all that kind of stuff. I was also playing ball. And so I played a lot of ball against former major leaguers and minor leaguers and winter ball and everything. So I got a lot of those years behind me. And I think those years are still stuck in my brain when it comes to, my 9-year-old and 11-year-old playing ball, and the coaches, come across as guys that are there, to kind of show out a little bit for themselves. And that's mean spirited me from my ball days is like, all right, here's what we're going to do, guys. This is, if we're going to be nasty over there in that dugout, I got a lot of tricks in my sleeve too. And we'll just, by God, we'll learn how to do this. And anyway, I come close, and I think I did hold my language back. I didn't cuss, but I came really close because it was 9-year-olds playing out there. It was really close. I'm like, got in the face of another coach and had to control myself and remember, man, they're 9 years old. What are you doing out here? What are you doing? This will make the paper tomorrow if this becomes a thing. So I've had to calm down several times, to remember they're all 9. We're all here for them.
Well, before we go here, I know, because I'm a big Kansas City Chiefs fan, and I know
Awesome.
that you're really not a Kansas City Chiefs fan. You're really a Pat Mahomes fan.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Pat's father, I go back with him about 20 years. When he played for the Sounds there in Nashville, the AAA team there, he used to come out. We used to go to Tootsie's about every time he wasn't pitching, or even sometimes when he was. And we'd hang out till 2 or 3 in the morning. To have a little fun. But he's got a great kid. I didn't even know back then that Pat was from around Tyler. I think he's from Lindale. And so one day about 2012 or 13, I went into a little sports bar in Tyler, and I see Pat, senior, sitting at the bar. I'm like, hey, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh my God, I live here. What are you doing here? And like, I live here too. And so, and anyway, he'd had a couple, and he said, I want you to meet my boy. He's I think he was a junior, maybe in high school at that time, and maybe going into senior year. And he said, my boy's going to be special. He's going to play baseball for Texas Tech. And it was Patrick, and he come and picked him up. I mean, one of the nicest, well-mannered kids I've ever met in my life. It was yes, sir, no, sir. We talked a little ball. And he was very humble and a highly recruited kid. And so I got a soft spot in my heart for that guy. He was always a super good kid.
So did you get into the Super Bowl free?
Me? No, I don't have that kind of connection. No, that's one of those. I think you have to be immediately connected. Pat, I think, probably has the only ticket for that.
Well, I tell you what, Mr. Man, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. I see the clock on the wall ticking there, and I know you're on the bus. But we look forward to seeing you down in Magic Springs. Last time I met you, you were out at Riverfest when we used to have Riverfest. I met you out there. But we're
right on, yeah.
everybody's looking forward to coming out and seeing you. I mean, you got your hair cut and everything. You don't have that damn.
Yeah, the spirit of Buck is alive and well. That's right.
But you take care, Mr. Man. Tell the kids and everybody we said hi, and we look forward to seeing you.
I sure will. Thank you guys very much. I look forward to being back home, man.
Okay, you take care. Stay safe on the bus.
You too, bud. Yeah, man. Thank you.
There he was. Joe Nichols, man, what a guy. He's funny as hell, you know, selling rotten steaks. But anyway, that's Joe Nichols. He's going to be playing down at the end of this month in June at Magic Springs. And if you get a chance to go see him, this guy is phenomenal. I mean, he's won CMA awards and Grammy nominations. This guy is a real deal. And he knows Patrick Mahomes. Holy crap. Wait, think about that. So anyway, this is Roy Doyle signing off for ArkansasShowcaseRadio.com. This is just one of the many interviews we do with celebrities here, just for you guys, just for you guys. So that's it for right now. You guys take care, and that's it.